Good afternoon and welcome to Cut to the Chase with Senator Chase. You've tuned into our weekly call-in town hall and radio show. That's right, this is a call-in town hall with your state representative. So feel free to call in, and the number is 804-454-1366. And I'm going to say that again, 804-454-1366. You can call in today. You can ask your question right here, right now. I want to thank WNTW, The Answer, for the opportunity to provide this free public service to you each week. And I hope you'll take advantage of it. It's a unique opportunity. And how often do you get to call in on a weekly radio show and actually talk to your state senator? So I hope you take advantage of it. Again, I'm State Senator Amanda Chase. I'm your weekly radio show host. I serve you at the state level, which is not to be confused with the federal level, which meets in D.C. My office is actually at the state capitol in downtown Richmond. At the state level, we actually have by law, we balance the budget, which I think is a great idea. This is still my first term in office, and I'm getting ready to complete my second year in office of my 4-year term, so I am not running for office right now. I represent the 11th Senatorial District, which includes all of Amelia, all of Colonial Heights, and most of Chesterfield. I'm a Christian conservative Republican, and in that order, and I have to give credit to Vice President Mike Pence, who first said that, and I like that line, so I borrowed it from him, and I hope he's okay with that, because I'm using it. I ran on term-limiting career politicians. Do you remember that? And returning the government back to the people. My goal is to be a representative who is transparent, accessible, and approachable, which is why I have offered to volunteer to do this radio show. I'm not paid to do this show. I do it because I think it's important to stay connected to the people that I serve, and I don't ever want to be called a politician. I'm allergic. So since being elected in 2015, what have I done? Well, I pushed for greater transparency in government, legislation that returns the power back to the people. I helped restore your reciprocity of gun rights and holding Dominion accountable for coal ash cleanup to ensure we're good stewards of the James River. And I've mentioned this before. You know, a lot of times when you watch TV, every once in a while the media will show clips of us in session where we're voting on the floor of the Senate. I will tell you that most of the work is not done there. That's typically where we vote. Most of the work is actually done in committees and subcommittees, and I serve on 4 committees: Health and Education, Transportation, Local Governments, and Privileges and Elections. And I actually have 2 subcommittees. There's a subcommittee called COPN, or Certificate of Public Need, and then there is a subcommittee on higher education, which I sit on as well. I also co-founded the Transparency Caucus, which worked in a bipartisan bicameral way to ensure that these committee meetings, remember where all the work is done, are streamed real time and recorded to give constituents greater access to the actual work of the legislature. And, you know, that's for the first time in Virginia's legislative history that this session's legislative services will be providing this. So I feel pretty good about that. And, you know, we didn't even have to put in legislation. We actually drafted a letter and had our colleagues to sign the letter and sent that to the clerk. So it's great whenever you can get work done. Many of the topics that we will address on the show are issues that constituents have brought to my issue, and I meet with constituents year-round. Our issues that we've addressed in the General Assembly, which generally meets from January through March. And I will tell you, even out of session, I'm out in the community. I think I've been out every night this week at various events. We have things going on all the time in the district, meeting with constituents. From time to time, we'll also get congressional updates from various Virginia's congressmen, predominantly Congressman Bratt, because he's my congressman and our congressman of the 11th district. And so I want to give you the number again in case you have a question, because we're going to get started here in a minute. The number again is 804-454-1366, and that's I'm repeating that because Judy, who I absolutely love, who lives in Chester, I'm giving her a special shout out, said make sure you repeat the number more than once. So shout out to you, Judy. So, what have you been doing this week? Well, let me tell you what I've been doing. Former President Bush was in town on Monday, campaigning for hopefully Governor Gillespie, and I was able to attend that luncheon, and it was great. Unfortunately, I didn't get to meet President Bush. That would have been nice, but there were so many people there. I think there were 1,000 plus people. You know, I'm one of those who actually counts the tables and does the math. That's my finance background kicking in there. I've also been working with the stakeholders on some legislation that I'm going to be introducing that's called the Healthcare Cost Transparency Bill. And I'll give you a general overview. You know, we've talked a lot on the show about, you know, Optima pulling out of the market, Anthem pulling out of the market. Then they come back in. So we have providers now, so we're not so panicked about December 31st like we were originally, where I was telling you that Virginia was the only state in the whole U.S. at one point that was not going to have any providers for those who had signed up under the individual plan for Obamacare. They do now have the option to have coverage, but here's the problem. The problem is that it's going up. Your premiums will be going up 50 to 60%. And I had a constituent named Joe, and Joe, you know who you are if you're listening, who sent me a Facebook note on there, and I said, yes, actually we have been talking about this on Cut to the Chase about insurance premiums going up. So I was trying to figure out what can I do as a state legislature to help with this problem. And, you know, we have a shift from where your employer, you, and probably some debt out there was going to pay for these health care, these insurance premiums. And now we have shifted after Obamacare to now we're getting a lot of government subsidies and federal subsidies. And, you know, we go back and forth whether, you know, I'm watching the U.S. Senate and what they're possibly going to do. And, you know, there's some speculation and some talk out there, but it's just what it is right now. So I said, what can I do? And I think we need to address the front end of the issue, which is the cost of health care. And I don't know about you, but have you ever gone into your doctor's office and they ask you to sign a form, and on that form it says that you are, as the patient, are going to pay whatever your insurance company does not pay. You're going to be on the hook for it. And so you just sign your name on it. Well, I have a question. Aren't you signing like a blank check? I mean, what's the amount? Is it like a endless amount of money? I mean, it could be $10,000, it could be $500. I think it'd be a good idea if you knew what that number was. So one of the things that I'm looking at is having your doctor to deal directly with you and what would be the cost of services if you dealt just with your doctor, not even taking into account insurance, just so you have an idea of cost of services. Now, what does that allow you as the consumer to do? If every doctor did that, then you'd be able to shop for services at different doctors. Okay, so it gives you more options. It gives you some more flexibility. The challenging part, of course, and I know those of you who are in the medical field because I talk to you all the time, but the insurance component adds a little bit of more complication to that. Well, I think you should be able, as the consumer, to figure out your deductibles and how much money you have left. But I think all insurance companies should be able to give you an amount for cost of services. I mean, they do hip replacements. I mean, they should know generally how much that's going to be. Let's create some competition between your insurance company providing you services and being able to get it directly from your doctor and not having to go through insurance. Because I think from what I'm hearing is that the insurance companies are controlling everything. And what if the insurance companies had some competition? I think that would be good. So anyway, it's an idea, and I'm going to give you the number here. Y'all tell me what you think about it. 804-454-1366. Maybe you have some ideas. This is where I get my best ideas on the show, and you all call in. So again, 804-454-1366. So that's one thing that I've been working on this week with the stakeholders. I also attended a nurses legislative reception, and it's numerous nurses from all over the state come, and I was asked to speak to the nurses and was able to share with them, different things that I've been working on and some ideas. A lot of the nurses are saying that they want to be more autonomous. And in other words, a lot of times nurses have to work under the direction, under a contract with a physician, which I think is good. And they've come to us numerous times and said, we want to be more autonomous. How can we do that? And if you stay tuned, we're going to go real quick to a break, but we'll be back. I'm going to give you the number again, 804-454-136, and you can call in. We'll be right back right after the break.
Before the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People was the Dale Carnegie course. Now, after 104 years, over 8 million people experience Dale Carnegie courses. People like Warren Buffett and Ronald Reagan. The Dale Carnegie experience uses proven techniques to permanently unlock the potential of top talent, making individuals into inspiring leaders and groups into high-performing teams, while reducing the financial and emotional costs of employee turnover. For more information, visit DaleCarnegieRichmond.com. That's DaleCarnegieRichmond.com.
The Chesterfield County Colonial Heights Crime Solvers program needs your help to solve a series of thefts from cars. During the overnight hours of Wednesday, October 4th, multiple larcenies from autos occurred in the areas of Meshaw Creek and the park at Salisbury. While 11 separate cases were reported, those cases involved at least 23 victims. What was shocking was the fact that no signs of forced entry were seen on any of those vehicles. Jewelry, cash, computers were reported stolen, but detectives are most concerned about a shotgun that was missing. You can find more information on crimesolvers.net or on Facebook at CrimeSolversCCH. And if you can help with information on these or have information of any unsolved crime in or fugitive wanted by Chesterfield or Colonial Heights, submit a tip through the hotline 748-0660 or through the new P3 app. Either way, you will remain anonymous, and if your tip helps, you could receive a cash reward. Like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and take the time to solve the crime.
Attention! Sorry I'm talking a little loud because I want to reach people with a hearing problem. Do you want to hear better for just $299? Yes, not thousands, but for $299, you can hear all the sounds you've been missing for years. Hearing Help Express has been helping people hear better, selling top-quality hearing aids for over 30 years. Now's your best chance to hear better with hearing aids for only $299, plus a free 45-day home trial offer, and you don't even need to leave your home or get a hearing test. Call now to start your risk-free 45-day home trial offer. Call 888-451-2042. 888-451-2042 for free hearing help consultation. Learn how Hearing Help Express can improve the quality of your life. Visit us online now at hearinghelp.com or call 888-451-2042. 888-451-2042.
Before a trip, you program your destination into the GPS. You need the best directions to get where you want to be.
You will arrive at your retirement in 8
It's the same for retirement. You need a voice to guide you. In Richmond, that voice is Isaac Wright. Join him every Saturday at 3 and Sunday at noon on WNTW 820 The Answer. Isaac's experience can help your retirement journey feel like a drive down easy street. Take the first step by tuning in Saturdays at 3 and Sundays at noon for Retire Right with Isaac Wright.
arriving at your retirement.
Welcome back to Cut to the Chase with Senator Chase, our weekly call-in town hall and radio show. That's right. This is your town hall with your state representative, so feel free to call in 804-454-1366. And again, 804-454-1366. And I'm happy to answer your questions here on the phone. Right before the break, I was mentioning the nurses' legislative reception that I attended. And one of the issues that comes before the General Assembly, and many nurses have brought to my attention, is this need for access to care, especially in the rural areas where they have to travel far distances to sometimes get that medical care. And what I told them is this: I don't mind if you're autonomous as long as that is transparent to the consumer. So if you're under the impression that you're going to the doctor's office to see a doctor, you should be able to see a doctor. Sometimes they'll have other folks in there that they can see, a PA or what have you. I just feel there should be transparency on the front end so that the consumer is able to make a decision. Maybe they're fine with a nurse. Sometimes a doctor is unavailable, and it's something that maybe a nurse can take care of. We have a lot of great nurses. My sister-in-law is actually a nurse, and there are many great ones out there, and they do so much work. And it's interesting. A friend of mine is studying, he's in med school right now, and the nurses are actually training him. So we value our nurses. One of the other things that I've spent a lot of time, and just really the highlight of my week, to be honest with you, we have a Senate page program, and I've been interviewing these page applicants. They're 13 and 14-year-olds who are obviously in school, and they have the opportunity during session, which we mentioned earlier with January, February, and March, to basically come and work at the General Assembly as a page or a runner. And they actually get a small stipend, and they live basically on campus, special facilities, and they work just like we work in the General Assembly. And they have a special program, and we have a deadline of October the 20th right now, and you can probably find that information on my website, chaseforsenate.com. But those pages that have already applied, I've interviewed almost all of them. There were probably about 25 of them, and they're all just super incredible, great kids. And yesterday, I did something a little unconventional, but I just appreciate so much these kids taking time out of their schedule, and their parents came with them, and we took a tour of the Capitol. And I went with them, and we had a nice tour guide there, and then we had a pizza party at the end. So if that is something that you're interested in, it's a program for 13 and 14-year-olds, and I highly recommend it. My daughter actually did the House Page program back whenever she was 14, and it's a great experience. So I'm just putting that out there. Another big issue that came up this week, I met with constituents. I think it was yesterday. Time flies when you're having fun. Meeting yesterday at my downtown office regarding the Matoaka Mega Industrial Site. A number of super smart, mostly retired folks who are very diligent citizens, and they're the watchdogs of your community, and we appreciate them. And I listen to them because they are looking out for their community. And so I met with probably about 10 of them yesterday. And what we talked about is this Matoaka mega site. And, they had some concerns. And so I sat down and listened to them. So I thought we talked about the Matoaka mega site last week. And I have invited Dr. Casey. I've invited Board of Supervisors members with Chesterfield as well. And what they would like to do is come on the show mid-November, and that gives them a chance to take a look at some of the final reports that they're waiting on. They're not going to be making a decision until after November, so I think that's great that they're willing to come on. So anyway, I made a promise that I was going to talk about this week because some of you were not able to call in and voice your concerns. So this show should be recorded, and I wanted to give the Board of Supervisors an opportunity to listen. I will also add that the Board of Supervisors has already had 4 public meetings, and I know many of you have gone to them. Maybe some of you have not had the opportunity. So let me tell you what it is. So the Matoaka Mega Site, it has the opportunity to bring up to 10,000 manufacturing jobs. And you say, first of all, I want to know where this is, right? And how big is it? Well, the first answer is it's 1,675 acres of land, and it's south of Route 10 in Chester. So it's located in Chesterfield, Virginia, and it's in the southeast part of Chesterfield. Now, I know you can't see my map here, but it's in the Bermuda District and not the Matoaka District. And I know some of you were saying that you did that, and I understand. You just did not feel like the name of the site was very transparent since it's in Bermuda. What I found out, and this is also on the website, the Matoaca Mega website, is that the reason that they did not go with Matoaca, so I'm told, is that Bermuda does not Google as well, whereas the Matoaca Mega site did. And so that's what they're telling me. So originally, this land was once planned to be part of what was a huge residential project called Branner Station. Now, some of the lights went on out there. They're like, oh, I remember that. But that has since fallen through during the last recession. Branner Station was a proposed mixed-use development which included 5,000 housing units. This particular site is actually currently zoned residential. The site was rezoned residential in 2007 as a part of the Branner Station project. And so when the economy suffered, if you remember, we had that downturn, the large downturn, the residential project was really no longer viable and actually has been vacant since that time. The Chesterfield County Economic Development Authority currently holds an option on these parcels, and it's actually applying to have this area conditionally rezoned, the entire property, to a I-3, which is for industrial use. And it's a part of a strategy to attract a major employer to the region. Now, I've looked at CNBC polls and Forbes, different magazines that show you what you have to do to attract business. What are those things? So whenever a company like Amazon, that's been in the news recently, they are looking for certain criteria before they will even consider coming to your city or to your town. And if you don't have these things, folks are not coming. So they have to be near a qualified, educated workforce. They like to see mass transit. They want people to be able to pull from different groups of folks, people that have transportation, people that don't. They don't want that to be an obstacle, so that they want a great workforce, good work pool. So there are many things that go into this. Transportation, what does the transportation look like? Lots of different things that go into this. Is it within a convenient drive of a well-educated and prepared workforce? Does it have higher education facilities? Is there an international airport? Is it served by a highway and a major North American railroad? Many times they also require a minimum of 1,500 acres to ensure that their facility is properly buffered, because a lot of times they have to build in existing or proposed residential communities, which would be the case here. I think, I'm trying to remember the names of some of the neighborhoods that they were mentioning yesterday. I think Glee Point was one. Stony Point West, I think, is the other one. So the subject site meets these and other site criteria typically used to evaluate the potential for landing a major employer. And it's the Economic Development Authority that actually takes a look at these things. The property, as currently is zoned, we mentioned, would allow for thousands of single-family homes to be constructed before significant upgrades to the county's utility and road infrastructure are required. Now, we're gonna go to a quick break, but we're going to talk about the function and the role of the Chesterfield County Economic Development Authority when we come back from the break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Good afternoon and welcome back to Cut to the Chase with State Senator Amanda Chase. The call-in number here is 804-454-1366, and we are currently talking about the Matoaca Megasite, and I also want to give you the website information for that. It's matoacamegasite.com, matoacamegasite.com. So all this information. If you're driving down the road and you're thinking, well, I'd like to take notes, just remember matoacamegasite.com. Google it, you'll find it. And there's actually a Matoaca community meeting presentation, complete with notes on there, so you can take a look at that. But, all of this has been this research that I've done on this project, and I've talked to a number of people about this, elected and constituents as well. And, I am generally in favor of bringing business here to Virginia, but I think into Chesterfield and to the 11th district. And I think that we should set ourselves up so that we can have employers that want to locate here. And I think that it would be great to diversify our tax base, which is predominantly residential at this point. Wouldn't you like to see? I mean, I would hope. I'm a little skeptical, I guess is the word, for seeing taxes going down. How often does that happen? But I mean, it could happen that you get a business in here that brings so much business in here that maybe our taxes lower. We'll all believe that when we see it, right? But I think that one of the concerns that I heard is that at some of the public meetings, that the people that were there, they did not have the answers. Like whenever the constituents would ask a question, the answer was, I really don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. And I would say this. A lot of times, there are two ways you can look at this. Do you tell people as you're going along the way, maybe you don't have all the answers, but you want to bring them on the conversation. So you say, well, this is the direction we're heading. This is what we know now, but I'm not going to have all the answers to your question, because you do want to have a transparent process and you want to include as many people as you can. Or the second route, which is the one I try to stay away from, is that you wait until you get everything ready and prepared and you're all the I's dotted and T's crossed before you let constituents know what you're doing. I don't like that option because I think it's not transparent, and you feel like, well, it's a done deal and you're just telling me. I mean, that's not representative government. So I hope and think that the Board of Supervisors and Economic Development are wanting to say, we want to be transparent. I will tell you that those who met with me had some very legitimate concerns, feeling that it was not transparent. Like the question about, the name of it being Matoaka instead of Bermuda, since it's in the Bermuda district, and was that to throw people off to think, if it's in the Matoaka district and you live in Bermuda, you kind of dismiss it because you think, well, it's not my backyard, so let Matoaka deal with it, right? And Matoaka realizes it's in Bermuda district, and they're like, well, we're okay with it because it's really in Bermuda. So I do understand that. I mean, it does kind of, I can understand why people would be concerned with that. I'm hoping that, that as we continue along this process, I'm going to encourage everyone to be transparent, elected officials, constituents. I just always think it's important to have the dialogue. One thing that I would tell you is I was doing my research on this. I found out, I looked into what is this Chesterfield Economic Development Authority? What do they do? What is their purpose and their function, and should they be allowed to do what they're doing? Chesterfield has bought a lot of land. And it's short CEDA. It works in conjunction with the Department of Economic Development to help create jobs, expand the tax base, and diversify the economy of Chesterfield County. Now, that sounds good. But how did they get to be an authority? Well, actually, I found out that this authority was actually created in 1968. It was chartered through a state law that allows cities and counties to create industrial economic development authorities with wide-ranging powers not available to local governments in order to facilitate economic development opportunities within the community. So what is that? Okay, so they have the power to buy, sell, and develop land for business parks or other economic development purposes. And then it goes on to say it can also build facilities for sale or lease to private companies, issue taxable and tax-exempt industrial revenue bonds either to finance this authority's projects or to provide financing facilities and machineries by a private company and provide incentives to attract new companies to Chesterfield County or to induce existing companies to expand. An example might be the Meadowvale Technology Park, which you've heard about, or the development of Stone Bridge. So, basically they are spending public So what do you think about that? We're going to go to a break, but I'm going to give you the number, 804-454-1366. Write that down. Call me and let me know what you think. Is that the role of government?
For 34 years, the Pregnancy Resource Center of Metro Richmond has been a safe haven and a loving refuge to thousands of young moms and dads of the greater RVA community who need compassionate care and hope in the midst of an unplanned pregnancy. Join us for our 2017 annual gala as we share more about the ways that God is saving lives through this ministry. Stay tuned for this special invitation.
Hi, I'm JJ Jasper, inviting you to join me Thursday night, November the 16th at the Richmond Marriott for the Pregnancy Resource Center of Metro Richmond 2017 Annual Gala. As the morning on-air personality and best-selling author, I know you'll be encouraged and inspired. We'll laugh together. Plus, it's for a great cause, celebrating the important work of PRC in the Richmond area. Find out more at friendsofprcrichmond.org or call 804-673-4150.
WNTW listeners, my name is Judith Daniel, owner of Daniel's Heating and Refrigeration, a name you know and trust. Here's a helpful hint. When you first turn on your gas heating system to heating mode, you should not smell a rotten egg smell. If you smell this odor at any time, get everyone out of the house and call your gas company. Natural gas itself is odorless, but a sulfur like rotten egg smell is added so that leaks can be detected. Now is the time to check out your heating system to make sure that the unit is working properly. A regular seasonal maintenance check before winter can save you money and the discomfort of going without heat. Before old man winter comes a knocking, let Daniel's Heating come a rocking. Experience the personal touch of Daniel's Heating and Refrigeration. Call us today at 379-1155. That's Daniel's Heating at 379-1155. A name you know and trust.
If your financial plan is even slightly out of tune, you may be paying too much for taxes, exposing yourself to too much risk, or retiring without a sound income plan. Listen to WNTW AM 820 The Answer on Saturdays at 9 a.m. and Sundays at 8:30 a.m. to Financially Tuned with Big John Pulowski of Norseman Advisory Group. You can contact Big John at 757-223-1559 or visit the website at norsemanagi.com.
Before the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People was the Dale Carnegie course. Now, after 104 years, over 8 million people experience Dale Carnegie courses. People like Warren Buffett and Ronald Reagan. The Dale Carnegie experience uses proven techniques to permanently unlock the potential of top talent, making individuals into inspiring leaders and groups into high-performing teams, while reducing the financial and emotional costs of employee turnover. For more information, visit DaleCarnegieRichmond.com. That's DaleCarnegieRichmond.com.
Welcome back to Cut to the Chase with State Senator Amanda Chase, and I'm here taking your phone calls at 804-454-1366, and you're welcome to call in. I'll do my best to answer your questions on the phone here. So I'm talking about the Chesterfield Economic Development Authority, and let's just talk in general. And I see this a lot by a lot of really good-intended folks out there, legislators and so forth. And I really do want to ask you all, the listeners, and get your feedback on this, because I have a very strong personal opinion about this. I personally believe, as a small business owner, and keep in mind, my husband and I have had numerous businesses. We have not had help from the government. We have not had incentive money. Nobody has really helped us with anything, but I do appreciate the opportunity to have less regulation, less taxes, and for the government to get out of my way so that we can do what we do best. Whichever business it is. And the problem that we have is when government increases the amount of regulation, it means you have to bring on other people to try to comply with those regulations. It makes the cost of doing business go up. But I found this very interesting and this whole Chesterfield Economic Development Authority, because they say that their job is to spend public dollars wisely, recognize, evaluate, and they take very seriously, quote unquote, the implications of competing with the private sector to meet short and long-term economic development goals and objectives. And then it says, when they take on a developer's role, It generally does so in order to stimulate opportunities that would ordinarily be slow to occur with private developers that may be unwilling or unable to commit financial resources and patiently wait for a return on investment. Additionally, private developers are often reluctant to provide the incentives that are needed to promote economic development in today's intensely competitive environment. Now, I do believe that we should bring small business to the Commonwealth, to Matoaka. I mean, wherever we can get business, we need to create an environment. And I put in legislation, as I mentioned earlier, to lower Virginia's corporate income tax from 6% to 2.5%. To provide, but it's a level playing field for everyone. I just think that we should be very cautious about picking winners and losers by, giving money, especially if it's not an elected official. You all, when we say elected official, I mean representatives, people that you put in office. And I think we have to be very careful of that. I am not taking a position right now until, I guess, on the Matoaka mega site, until I hear back the reports and everything, and I've had a chance to hear I want to hear from the Board of Supervisors on this as well. But I do feel like that we need to make sure that this is transparent, a transparent process, and I just question, why do we have an authority that is spending taxpayer money and purchasing land on our behalf? I'm having a hard time. Are you having a hard time getting your head around that? Like that's what I'm having a hard time with, that aspect of it. So I welcome you all to call in 804-454-1366. Maybe you can steer me in the right direction here, but my gut says that is probably not a good idea, but we'll see. So I want to read to you the Republican Party of Virginia Creed. Before I do that, I just want, those of you who are out there driving, I want to caution you to probably stay away from the Richmond area right now, because my understanding, and you probably heard about this, is that former President Barack Obama is in Richmond tonight at a rally at the Greater Richmond Convention Center, and so it's going to be very congested there, so try to stay away from downtown if you can. I have Mark on the phone who is calling about the mega site. So, Mark, tell us, where are you from?
From Chester, and I just, Senator Chase, thanks for taking my call. I just want to say that I am opposed to the mega site, and also I wanted to say that I'm opposed to this funding for experimenting on dogs.
Experimenting on dogs. Now, tell me what that is. That's a new one.
Yeah, there's going to be a bill introduced. I forget the sponsor's name, but to stop Virginia funding for experiments on dogs that apparently has been going on at McGuire.
Oh, that's right. And I think Congressman Bratt carried that legislation, correct? That was a federal piece of legislation?
No. It's the Virginia apparently has been funding it.
Interesting.
And so there's going to, in the General Assembly, there's going to be a bill introduced on it.
Do you know who's sponsoring it?
I think that it might be, is there a senator named Stanley?
Yes.
I think that it might be him.
Okay, very good. So you oppose his bill?
No, I oppose experiments on dogs.
Okay, so you support his bill. Okay, got it. All right.
Yeah, and I'm also opposed to the mega site.
Okay, very good. Now, do you live close to the mega site?
Yes.
So tell me your thoughts on that. What specifically about it do you oppose?
Well, I went to the meeting, and they just were. They were not. They were not ready to answer the questions. They don't have a specific client lined up to inhabit the mega site, and so they really don't know what it's going to be.
Right. Now, my understanding is that the Board of Supervisors would ultimately have the power to, approve or veto what type of site. They are looking for clean industrial. I do know that much, but I will definitely, and this show is being recorded, so they will be able to go back and listen to those of you who call in. So I appreciate you calling in and expressing your opposition.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks for calling in.
And please remember about stopping the funding for the experiments on dogs.
Yes, I will. I have 3 dogs, and I like dogs.
Yes, thank you.
Absolutely. All right, so I'm going back to the Republican Party creed. And in that, it says that we believe in the free enterprise system as the most productive supplier of human needs and economic justice, that all individuals are entitled to equal rights, justice, and opportunities, and should assume their responsibilities as citizens in a free society, that fiscal responsibility and budgetary restraints must be exercised at all levels of government, that the federal government must preserve individual liberty by observing constitutional limitations, and that peace is best preserved through a strong national defense, that faith in God, as recognized by our founding fathers, is essential to the moral fiber of the nation. Folks, that is the Republican creed. And before I vote yes or no on a bill, this is my plumb line. This is what I use here. So we will be using that. So I appreciate those of you who are calling in and have met with me. And there's a whole list of questions. If you do go to the website, thematoacamegasite.com, there's a list of frequently asked questions about the East Coast, the East-West Freeway, part of it. I mean, there's all types of studies and everything that they're waiting for. But the key thing here is that it's not ready for prime time at this point. So we're going to keep an eye on it, okay? So no worries. We're going to have them on the show, Board of Supervisors, the second week in November. But we'll be right back with Cut to the Chase with Senator Chase.
Why do I have a problem with millennials? And I'm sick and tired of hearing the word, and I'm sick and tired of catering to them, and I'm sick and tired of hearing what they think, because they don't think. All they do is spew the data that they get off an iPhone or what's been put into their silly little heads in the public schools.
Tune in to the Savage Nation, weekdays, here on Richmond's Choice for Conservative Talk Radio, WNTW 820, The Answer.
WNTW listeners, my name is Judith Daniel, owner of Daniel's Heating and Refrigeration, a name you know and trust. Here's a helpful hint. When you first turn on your heat pump system to heating mode, you may smell a dusty, burning smell. This smell should disappear within a few hours. This smell comes from excessive dust that has collected on the heating components. Now is the time to check out your heating system to make sure that the unit is working properly. A regular, seasonal maintenance check before winter can save you money and the discomfort of going without heat. Before old man winter comes a-knocking, let Daniel's Heating come a-rocking. At Daniel's Heating and Refrigeration, you'll never be sold anything that you don't need. Call us today at 379-1155. That's Daniel's Heating at 379-1155. A name you know and trust.
Before a trip, you program your destination into the GPS. You need the best directions to get where you want to be.
You will arrive at your retirement in 8
It's the same for retirement. You need a voice to guide you. In Richmond, that voice is Isaac Wright. Join him every Saturday at 3 and Sunday at noon on WNTW 820 The Answer. Isaac's experience can help your retirement journey feel like a drive down easy street. Take the first step by tuning in Saturdays at 3 and Sundays at noon for Retire Right with Isaac Wright.
Arriving at your retirement.
Hey, I'm Kim Warburton, the Executive Director of the Pregnancy Resource Center of Metro Richmond. For over 34 years, the Pregnancy Resource Center of Metro Richmond has been a safe haven and a loving refuge to thousands of young moms and dads of the greater RVA community who need compassionate care and hope in the midst of an unplanned pregnancy. Join us for our 2017 annual gala as we share more about the ways that God is saving lives through this ministry. Stay tuned for this special invitation.
Hi, I'm JJ Jasper, inviting you to join me Thursday night, November the 16th at the Richmond Marriott for the Pregnancy Resource Center of Metro Richmond 2017 Annual Gala. As the morning on-air personality and best-selling author, I know you'll be encouraged and inspired. We'll laugh together. Plus, it's for a great cause, celebrating the important work of PR PRC in the Richmond area. Find out more at friendsofprcrichmond.org or call 804-673-4150.
Welcome back to the final wrap-up of Cut to the Chase with Senator Chase. I'm so glad you've tuned in today. And before I forget to tell you, remember, circle your calendar date, Tuesday, November the 7th. The polls will be open from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. and you want to go vote, okay? And the deadline to register to vote has already passed, but the deadline to request an absentee ballot has not. So if you need to vote absentee, you need to take care of that. You need to go. The deadline to request an absentee ballot by appearing in person, meaning you can actually go to the registrar's office and vote absentee, is 5 p.m. Saturday, November the 4th is the last day to do that. I would recommend, I don't know how your mail is, but mine has not been the most reliable recently. I would actually Google county registrar for whatever your county is, and I would go vote absentee. Just make sure you bring the proper identification with you so that you can vote. And let me just tell you a couple of those reasons. Let's say you're a student attending college and you're outside of your locality. Okay, you can vote absentee. What if you have personal business or vacation outside where you live on Election Day? Then you can file absentee. If you're working and commuting to and from work for 11 or more hours between 6 a.m. and 7 p.m. on Election Day, that also counts. If you're a first responder. So there are a number of reasons. You have a disability or illness. There's a number of reasons. And you can see all those listed. You could simply just type in registrar, voting, anything like that. It'll pop right up. State Board of Elections is also an option. I have Judy who is on the phone, and we have 15 seconds left. Okay, wait a second. Okay, we've got 2 minutes, Judy. Are you on?
Yes, I am.
All right, we've got like 2 minutes here left, but tell us what you have.
Two things. I want to thank you immensely, because when you read the creed, it says something about morals, and we have a problem with that in Chesterfield County. It doesn't seem to be a factor. And you and Mr. Cox are doing an outstanding job, but you cannot do this by yourself. So I am basically calling on the people in Chesterfield County. We have been trying to stop some of the collusion and the corruption since 1989, and it has continued to grow. So all of you veterans out there that have all this experience, all you retired business executives, get off of the chairs, get involved, because we need 5 people to run for the Board of Supervisors so that we can put a cap on some of the collusion and the deal-making so that we can get back to our quality of life in Chesterfield County. And the mega site has been in the stage of planning for some time. The land has to do with Mr. Shoesmith. We're familiar with the developers. And since I go all over the state and I speak with veterans on some of the problems and some of the other issues like elder abuse and so forth, when I say I'm from Chesterfield, somebody starts laughing and says, "Oh, yeah, we've heard about you all. You're run by the developers." And I just look at them and say, "You're right." We need to change that. We need more people like you and Mr. Cox that puts your moral fiber of who you are first before being a politician.
Well, thank you, Judy. I appreciate that. And unfortunately, our show is already over. I can't believe the hour went by so quickly, but I really appreciate your kind comments and appreciate the CCRG and the Bermuda group that came yesterday to meet with me. Very professional group. You all are so lucky to have them to represent you and do all the research and the homework, and they are really doing their due diligence and doing their best to communicate with their elected leaders. And I think this is going to turn out positive. I am very hopeful it is. But you all stay tuned for the next. episode of Cut to the Chase with Senator Chase next Thursday from 4 to 5.
And our website is cornerstonefirst.com.
NMLS ID 132665, consumeraccess.org.
Where is the best news and talk? AM 820, WNTW Chester is the answer.